Happy Wednesday, everyone. We got a fun little burger for you guys today. It's going to give you a nice opportunity to kind of work on some clean work, plus work on a little bit of core engagement, some different options for your V-ups. So, before we talk about that, let's talk about our warm-up. It's pretty extensive. What we have is a plank to down dog for 3 to 5, forearm plank hold of 20 seconds, arch hold of 20 seconds, and then a single leg bridge march of 20 seconds, 1 to 2 rounds. You're then going to move down into a little bit more core, kind of focus work in those L positions. So we're going to work on a laying L sit of 20 seconds, tuck hollow with extension, 20 seconds, and then a laying toe touch of 20 seconds. So you're going to work on one of these is a nice static hold, where 2 of them have some nice dynamic pieces to them to work on that compression through that midsection. We're going to hit that for 2 rounds. That's going to burn itself. It's going to be a little mini work set for sure. And they're going to work on some skills with the dumbbell, or if you have a barbell at home, you can work that barbell clean as well. We have a dumbbell deadlift for 3, dumbbell hang power clean for 2, and a dumbbell power clean for 1. You're going to hit that 1 to 3 times, just making sure you're happy and comfortable with the loading you have, or working on some skills to kind of finesse that clean and make it that much better. Our workout today is going to put all that stuff into practice as we work on 3 rounds of 10 power cleans and 10 V-ups. I'll have a ton of options for your V-ups, but this is a great opportunity to work on some different stuff here and challenge that V-up just a little bit, because it's a lower volume today in terms of our work set. So there's only 10, so it really does give you an opportunity to kind of work on some different stuff today. So let's get you ready, let's get you fired up, let's have some fun. All right, let's get you moving around. Let's get those feet under those hips. We'll take the arms big and tall overhead. We're just gonna stretch it to one side, stretch it to the other side. We'll come back through, take those hands out to the T. We'll turn them in a little bit, turn them out, and then turn them in, and turn them out, and turn them in, and turn them out. Big reach overhead. We stretch it to one side, stretch it to the other side. Good, we'll forward fold, touching those toes. We're gonna walk up those shins, coming back down. Framing the foot, we're gonna step it into our lizard. Into this nice lizard lunge position, we'll take that inside hand all the way up, and we're gonna rotate. Forearm down. We'll come back up, and then rotate, forearm down. Back up, and then rotate, forearm down. From here, we'll come back up, planting that hand, we'll step back into that down dog, just to set those shoulders for a moment. Open up that upper back. Then we'll come back into our plank, stepping the other foot up, into our lizard. Inside hand reaches, and we'll rotate. And then we'll come back up, and then rotate, and come back up, and rotate, and come back up. Planting that hand, set, step back into that down dog. Again, as you set those shoulders up, open up that upper back. Coming back into that plank as we press the floor away. Let's tiptoe those feet up. Rolling ourselves all the way up. Big stretch overhead. Little reach. Little reach. Down with those hands. Now let's rock and roll. So, let's pause that video. If you have some extra movement you like to take down, maybe some cat-cow, thread the needle, a little bit more rotation is always nice, just to get you fired up for what's to come, and to kind of work out some of the stuff we've done earlier on in the week. So let's get yourself ready, let's have some fun, let's move into that first phase of core building warm-up. Okay, we're gonna start the day off today with just a little core work, a little bit of shoulder kind of work, just to get you fired up. So we're gonna kickstart off with a plank to down dog. So we're gonna establish first a nice solid plank. And your feet can be a little apart or together, it's up to you. But we're gonna push the floor away just a bit, pull the ribs in, just to maintain that nice solid back position. From here, we're gonna draw those hips back, wrapping those arms around our body so we get that nice open upper back position as those lats support that shoulder. We're gonna come back into that plank as we set the shoulder again, pulling those hips back and up as we get that nice position, and then come back through into that plank. So when we go back and forth in those positions, I want you to really focus on that nice overhead position. So really setting those shoulders in that good place to really kind of open up that upper back. And like I say, support that shoulder girdle in the overhead. So it's going to help open up that nice overhead position. Once we've done 3 to 5 of those reps, we're going to move down into our tabletop. And if you'd like to do a little bit of cat-cow work in here, you can. Or we're just going to lower right down into our forearm plank. Now with our forearm plank, we are going to step ourselves back, keeping those elbows stacked underneath of those shoulders, pushing the floor away, and keeping those ribs pulled in, just like a normal plank, except we're going to be on our forearms. Now, if you find this a lot of load on the shoulders, we can lower those knees as we push through those shoulders again, keeping that nice solid plank position and holding that nice hollow. Now, I find again with that knee forearm plank, it doesn't take a lot of pressure off of the midsection. It does take some pressure off the shoulders, but not a lot off the core. So you're not going to miss out on any engagement if you drop down to the knees in that forearm plank. So if you need to, just to get some extra time in there, start from the toes lower down, or just establish the toe plank first and then hold the rest of the time in that forearm knee plank. That is also fine. You're not going to shortchange yourself by no means, because it's a ton of load through that midsection. Once we're done our forearm plank, we're going to go down onto our stomach and we're going to work on our arch hold. So we're going to work a static arch hold. So the toes are going to come together. I'm going to reach my arms forward, reach my toes back, and just extend as long as I can into this position and hold for 20 seconds. Now I'm keeping my eyes down and I want to think about lengthening. So it's that reach, that space between the vertebrae that I'm after in that arch hold. Now if 2 hands, 2 feet is too much, we can do this unilateral work set and we can lift our right hand, left foot as we extend nice and long, holding for half the time, and then switching over to the other side to hold for the other half. So it just gives us a really good opportunity to work that unilateral movement and just balance out the body. Also, if you're someone who always does 2 hand, 2 feet arch holds, it's not a bad idea to change up that movement set and that stimulus every once in a while so that you work that unilateral movement and give yourself that different challenge. Excuse me. Once we're done our arch holds, we're going to get down onto our back and again balance out that pelvis. So we're going to bring our feet just outside the fingers, but our hips and feet are going to be in line. So our feet aren't wide, they're not too narrow, but they're just in line with the hips. I'm going to take my arms up to the ceiling, push them up to the sky, and I'm going to pull my ribs in a bit. I'm going to push my feet into the floor. So I'm holding this position as I reach, push through my feet, and then I'm going to continue to push through my right foot as I lift my left foot up. Doesn't have to be high. Then I'm going to push my left foot down, and I'm going to hold that right foot up for a few seconds. And then I'm going to work on that really smooth march back and forth. But again, focusing on pushing my foot down into the floor. I'm not really concerned about how high my foot comes off the ground, but I really want to focus on that pressure into the ground to help support and build that engagement through the midsection. So really focus on that down. It's going to help stabilize quite a bit. As a quick recap, we have a plank to down dog for 3 to 5 reps. Forearm plank hold for 20 seconds from the knees or the toes. Arch hold, 20 seconds of either 2 hand, 2 feet, or unilateral work, 1 hand, 1 foot, and switch halfway through. And then a single leg bridge march for 20 seconds, 1 to 2 rounds. You're going to tackle that for 1 to 2 rounds, get that body heated up from the inside out. We're going to move into some more core work to get that core fired up even more and work on some compression. So pause the video, take that down, come back and join me. We're going to get that core just a little bit more warm. All right, our next phase of warm-up is going to consist of us laying on the floor. What we're going to work on is a laying L-sit, a tuck hollow with extension, and a laying toe touch. Now what we're looking for, I have 1 dumbbell down here to act as an anchor. You could use a a single dumbbell, you can use 2 dumbbells, you can use the bottom of a couch, chair, something that you can use as an anchor point for your arms and just get a little bit of activation through that lat, just like you were hanging on a bar. So use what you got. If you find a couch works really well for this, awesome, use a couch, but whatever you got, we're gonna land on the floor. So whenever we set this up, I wanna make sure with whatever I'm using as my anchor point, I can lay on the floor and extend my arms fully to take hold or tuck my hands underneath of that anchor. I am going to pretend like I have the dumbbell, and I'm going to pretend like I'm going to try and push that dumbbell and lift it off the floor this way. So I'm actively pressing into the dumbbell. I feel that lat kick on through here, through the shoulders, so I'm nice and stable and supported. From here, I'm going to walk my feet up so they're flat, just like I was going to do a bridge. And I'm going to pull my ribs in so I get that nice hollow position. Continuing still to stay active through the shoulders, I'm going to pull my knees into my chest, into my tuck position. And then I'm going to extend my legs straight up to the sky, keeping my toes together, keeping my ribs pulled in, and I'm pressing into the dumbbell. So I'm really holding that position, pressing into that dumbbell, making sure I'm staying active and engaged. I'm going to hold this tension for 20 seconds. Then I'll pull my knees in, lower my feet down, release my arms down slowly, and then get set up for my tuck hollow with extension. So my tuck hollow, I'm going to bring my hands to the side. I'm going to pull my ribs in, pull my knees in, and then I'm going to draw my knees and shoulders together. So I'm creating this nice little tuck as I try and draw the knees towards my chest. From here, I'm going to maintain this tuck as I extend my legs as straight as I can, and then pull those heels back to my glutes as I maintain that tension and compression through my midsection. So this is really going to depend on how straight your legs get on your hamstrings. So you might find that those legs just won't straighten, and that's okay, all right? We just want to work to that edge and work to that position that we can get the most out of it. If you find that it's really, really challenging, you can do a single leg as well. So we keep one knee on the floor, or one heel on the floor. We pull one knee to the chest, and then we just work a single leg on that extension and that tuck, and then we do the other side. So we'd spend 10 seconds one side, 10 seconds on the other side to build that engagement. Last but not least, the core is fired up now. We're going to get ourselves ready by pulling the knees in. I'm nice and set. I pull up into that L position. My fingers reach towards my toes, and then I pull my sternum towards my belly button, try to touch my toes, and roll back down. Trying to touch my toes, come back down. I'm not using any momentum. I'm using that compression strength through my belly, through my ribs, my abs, to kind of roll the body up and then roll back down. So there's no momentum with the arms. It's all that strict contraction and that compression through the midsection. They burn, but don't worry about how high your fingers get. Don't worry if you can't touch your shoelaces or your toes. It's not a big deal. We want to work on just getting that engagement, that compression, and that engagement there to get that movement. Now, it's a quick little recap for 2 rounds. We're going to do a laying L sit for 20 seconds, tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds, and then a laying toe touch for 20 seconds. Hit that for 2 rounds. If you need to rest in between those rounds, please do so, because that is a core burner. It gets the body going. So you're going to feel some heat, and you're going to probably need to take a break or throw in a little extra bridge to work on opening up those hips at the end of those laying toe touches. Take that down, pause it, rock it. We're going to come back at you with some dumbbell skill work before the workout starts. All right, the next phase of work is going to concentrate on our dumbbell clean. So we're going to take it apart into a dumbbell deadlift, a dumbbell hang power clean, and a dumbbell power clean. So we're going to work our way back from the bottom, up, and then back down to the floor. So I'm going to turn profile so you can see this, and I'm going to go through this all on one side. So my first set I'm gonna work with is a sumo deadlift. You can do a conventional to the outside, but I'm gonna use a sumo so I can get a little deeper with a little bit more position. I'm gonna draw the hips back, keeping my weight through that midfoot, but my foot nice and flat, taking hold of the dumbbell. I'm gonna push through those legs and stand up nice and tall. From here again, I'm gonna take it back down to that comfortable range that I can maintain back position. Doesn't necessarily have to be to the floor. We want to make sure that we're allowing ourselves to maintain a good back position and a good push to the legs. Once I've done 3 deadlifts, I'm going to do that same hinge, but I'm going to take the dumbbell to the knee. And I'm going to push through those legs, get some speed on the dumbbell, pull under that dumbbell, stand tall, and then bring it back to the hip. So again, in that simple idea of the clean, what we want to think about, find our knee, jump, landing a little power swing. Feet come back under. So we want to think about that jump, that push through the legs to get speed on the dumbbell so we don't have to use that arm very much for that load. From there, we've done 2 hang power cleans. Now we're going to go back down to the floor. We're going to take it to that floor position where we did our deadlift. Same idea as the power clean or the hang power clean. We're going to push through those legs. Yep. Get some speed on the dumbbell. Pull underneath. Stand tall. And then repeat on the opposite side if you're using a single dumbbell. Now the big thing with the power clean is that it's very similar to that hang power clean. The only difference is it's a little further down. So we need a little bit more patience before we accelerate through those legs. So we're truly bringing together the deadlift and the hang power clean to create this power clean. So we want to push through those legs. Once we get it to the knee, we're going to start kind of building some speed, pull into that power, and then stand tall with the dumbbell in that front rack position. So really pay attention to those first 2 movements because it grooves that movement set we're going to use in the workout. Now if you're using a single dumbbell, you'll go through one side and then you go through the other. That would be 1 round. If you're using 2 dumbbells, you'll just go through that sequence, 3 deads, 2 hang power cleans, 1 power clean, and rest a little bit. And you're going to take that down anywhere from 1 to 3 rounds to figure out where you want to be for working weight. If you're using a barbell, same concept. You're just going to use this kind of complex as a chance to practice the skill, plus build to working weight for the workout. 1 to 3 rounds of that complex, take it down, get yourself ready, work those skills. We're going to talk about what's coming up next in our work set. We're going to bring it all together today. We've made it to the workout, everyone. It's time. We have 3 rounds. Dumbbell power clean or barbell power clean for 10 reps, and then a V-up for 10 reps. We covered the power clean pretty heavily in our work set, but what we want to think about in terms of loading, if you have access to multiple sets of load or a barbell where you can load the bar, we want to have a weight that we can either do this 10 set in 1 to 2 sets. So it doesn't have to be unbroken. We want to make sure that it is challenging load, but it's something we can do in either 1 or 2 sets of 5, 6, and 4, something along those lines. So something we can cycle, but we can move pretty well. After that, though, we have our V-up, and we have a bunch of different options for floor V-up options. So we're going to talk about that quick here, and there'll be a little bit more options on the web page as well. So check that out on the workout description to get the most out of this work set for you. Now the V-up, we have this option of the double V-up and the single leg V-up. So what those look like, straight legs, I come down, I pull myself to the middle for the double, for the single, pull myself to the middle, just with one leg, back and forth. Now I'm trying to meet at the hip with the upper and the lower body. So that's kind of the plan, and the goal is to get both halves of the body, upper and lower, moving together. Now if the straight leg is a little bit too much and that lever is a little too long, what we can work on is a tuck up variation, single or double. So we get that tuck, we still meet in the middle, we get that nice aggressive close, we can do a single leg if 2 is too much, but we're still meeting at the hip crease. Now, if we struggle getting both halves of the body moving together in that full hinge, what we can do is the hollow up. So we can work on getting the leg and upper body moving together with that good contraction. So I'm going to pull my belly button and sternum together and work that hollow. So it's not a big hinge, but we get that everything moving together. Or we can work on a single leg alternating hollow up. So that's a nice option to get both halves of the body moving together. If we struggle getting the upper body in our V-up moving, so it's just the legs kind of coming up in our V-up and our upper body is staying on the floor, what we can work on is two variations. One we did in our warm-up, so we have that leg L position, nice and solid, nice and stripped, working through that leg and toe touch to really isolate the upper body portion. Or a little faster variation, we can work on our pike sit up. So we use our arms, sit up, straight legs, and reach as far down the legs as we can in that pike position, which also helps stretch out those hamstrings a bit in a very dynamic manner. So you can use either one. Again, the first variation, that leg toe touch, a little slower, a little more strict, big bang for buck and core work, but it is a slower movement, no momentum. And then we have a movement, the pike sit up, that involves all momentum, so it's a little faster, which is a really nice stretch for your hamstrings as well as a nice little core burner. So there's lots of different options there. None of those options are better or worse than the other. They offer just a little different type of engagement, a little different stimulus for the body. So please take advantage of those, play with them, have some fun. Maybe warm up with all of them, see which one you like the best, get to a nice little practice, and see what suits best for you today, especially maybe depending on what you're doing for your power climb. So experiment, have fun today, you guys. It's a quick little work set. We got 3 rounds, 10 power cleans, 10 V-ups, whatever option it happens to be. Repeat 3 times, done. So it's a great day to get a good burn, some good core work, and some good Oli work in there too. As always, let's work for quality, let's have a ton of fun, and let's have a great, great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow for some more fun. Have a great day, you guys.